Previously on the Diaries podcast.
I don't know. So I had cars as a phase. I had shoes as a phase. I'm slowly entering my watch phase now, which is good timing as well because I'm also entering the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm inshallah going to be making the money I need to buy those watches.
I noticed you're wearing it on your right hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get shit on for wearing the watches on my right hand.
Oh, you're right. My guy.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
Look at his watch.
Oh, is that a Mickey Mouse watch?
No, it's a Snoopy. They got it as a
Snoopy
gift
watch.
for
Yeah,
me.
I felt like you were wearing a meme watch.
Yeah.
Snoopy, nice. I used to like Snoopy a lot.
Yeah, Snoopy's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, show me your watch.
This is a...
It looks kind of like a panerai.
Like a what? Sorry?
Panerai.
What's a panorama?
It's a Swiss brand.
See, that just shows I know nothing about watches yet.
Is your are your parents, grandparents all from Bombay?
We were colonized at some point, and that's my explanation for the way I look.
Okay. Where do you study here?
I started in Saudi 9 years, 2 years Bahrain, back to Saudi for a year, and then Dubai. I was in TMS.
Yeah.
Wait, is that how you know Zainab?
No. She and I, yeah, we were in the same school, but she and I volunteered at the same thing last year. No, the Grand Prix F1. She was volunteering there as a ticketer. And
Where are our tickets?
She's a volunteer, man. She herself have to beg for tickets.
Okay.
And yeah, I was volunteering as a marshal, like an intervention marshal.
Yeah.
So I think I saw her story and I just said, hey. I said, oh, what are you doing?
Slid
She
into
said, working.
DMs.
Yeah. She said, working.
That's
The thing is,
basically
I
what
don't
you did.
I don't understand like the slide into... I don't understand the slide into DMs. I will say this. I don't understand the slide into DMs concept, right? Because when you slide into someone's DMs, typically you're trying to hit.
Yeah,
right? That's how it works.
Yeah.
For me, I really don't give a fuck about texting anyone. Just like, oh, if I see something interesting on someone's story, I'll be like, yo, what is that?
Yeah.
And then they'll expect me to have a conversation. I don't want to have a conversation. I just wanted to know what that is. Thank you for telling me. Cause we're done now. Right? It's a wrap. So, yeah, sure. We continue to speak. But in general, you know when people say, oh, I slid into her DMs? No, I would literally just text anyone for anything. I have no filter like that. It's fine.
True.
Whatever. And then you could call it whatever you want to call it. And that person probably also thinks that's why I'm texting. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to you. It's fine.
Speaking of F1, which team do you support?
I think as a byproduct of being my dad's son.
It's a Visa Cash App Racing Bulls.
Cash App?
You know the Alpha Tauri team, right? They renamed it.
Did they?
Yeah. Now it's Visa Cash App Racing Bulls.
What?
Yeah.
You're joking.
No, I'm not.
You're what the? That's
no,
really
they
bad.
actually named it.
What?
It's just more sponsors than the team name.
Yes, that's the thing. Like you see their racing jackets, you're not going to see their logo anymore.
Yeah, they completely rebranded.
Visa Racing Cash Bulls.
Visa Cash App Racing Bulls.
Racing Bulls.
Yeah.
You're really trying to.
The short form is V car.
What's the engine from?
That's Honda.
Yes. Honda's Supreme.
It's a good engine. So yeah, which team do you support?
As a byproduct of being my dad's son, I have to say Mercedes.
Wait, why is that? What has your dad got to do with Mercedes?
Oh, he just supports Mercedes. That's it. I like in football, I had my choice.
In
F1, I don't have a choice. As in, he supports them, and he's kind of the reason I got into F1. So,
will he still support Mercedes after
Hamilton leaves? That's an interesting question. I was just about to say, I'm not sure. I don't know if his loyalty lies with the team or with Hamilton.
My loyalty lies with Hamilton.
Yeah.
Like
you seem the type.
Yeah, like 2025, I have to make a pilgrimage to the Ferrari world.
Oof.
Like,
to be fair, that's an insane team. I feel bad though. Leclerc is going to be pushed to the back almost.
Yeah, but Hamilton's aging anyways.
But I think
this is his last.
But I think
hurrah.
Leclerc is.
He has to win or it's done.
Leclerc has more of a handle of the Ferrari car than Hamilton because he's been long. Like he'll figure it out.
But he'll still be.
Yeah, but Hamilton's like a 7-time champion. Like you can't really compare.
Yeah, but was it because of the car? Like he could be. He's
it wasn't because of the car.
He's an amazing driver.
No.
That's
the car is a factor. The car is a factor.
Even for Max Verstappen, he's an amazing driver. But the car is a factor.
Car is too much.
That's what the car is.
Last
plays
season
a
was
factor.
absurd. Every race except for
that was the
Singapore.
first season since the P44, right? Since the McLaren 1988, that just they just blew everyone out of the water.
If assuming if Hamilton had Red Bull, he'd fucking win 20
no
championships.
question. No, okay.
Agreed.
Think about this way.
Agreed. But that just goes to like you're speaking to the fact that Red Bull's car is so powerful. It's
Yeah.
almost omnipotent, right?
Yeah.
But Hamilton did not have an omnipotent car. His car was okay. It was good. It was
No, that
slightly
one
better than everyone.
one season
One
where
season,
he had,
agreed.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. And that was which year?
2015?
I'm
I'm
blanking.
not
But
sure.
2015. Okay.
The
sure.
one time
But
he was
he's-
racing against the other guy. What's his name? The guy he had a fight with.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. His teammate, right?
Yeah.
They came up together as
They
well.
came
and
up
then-
together. Rosberg.
Rosberg, yeah.
That
fucking-
season they had
that
a
was
good
amazing.
car.
That was an amazing. Because I didn't watch F1 back then, but I've seen the highlights from that season. That was amazing.
Even if you take last season where Mercedes arguably had the shittiest car, he still came up like.
But
He is a good
assuming,
racer, to be
assuming
honest.
Fernando Alonso was in Red Bull, who do you think would? Okay, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton,
Yeah.
and Max Verstappen in the same Red Bull. What do you think would happen?
The thing
Hamilton.
is, look at Perez. Perez has the same car Verstappen has.
Yeah.
Perez doesn't do as well.
But you can't compare Perez to Alonso.
What I'm saying
Yeah.
is give a good driver a good car
Yeah.
and you get a good result. Give
Exactly.
an okay driver a good car and you get an okay result. You
These
still don't
three
get a
are
good
amazing
result.
drivers.
Yeah, yeah, agreed.
So how would you sort of what
You're
would-
saying how do you
what-
reconcile it, or
no,
you're
how
saying
would you
who's
would you
on top?
support and
Ah.
who do you think would win? Like
The thing is, me personally, I fucking love Verstappen.
yeah,
Primarily because
of his charisma.
not only
Not
charisma,
charisma,
he's
he's
the
a
most
good driver.
He's like a maniac,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
He's the most single-minded, cold-blooded, driven man in F1.
Yeah,
He wants something and he will get it.
yeah,
And I fucking love that. Because you
Yeah.
can say, I love the underdog and I love the anti-villain and you can say all of that.
yeah.
And I grew up like that as well. I was like, oh, I love the underdog and I
Yeah.
root for... Bro, at some point, you
Yeah.
look at the guy who
Yeah.
you know is him and you say that, I love that,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
I want to be that, not
Yeah.
anyone else. Not the guy who's trying and struggling. And because he came up, yes, with a good amount of talent, but also hard work.
Yeah.
He puts in the time. It's not like it's just natural. He's an alien or
Yeah.
he's not Messi with 5'4", like high genetics and the center of gravity of a
Yeah.
god. No, he's put in the time and effort. That's what I appreciate.
Yeah.
So I think he's earned a little bit of his ego. It's fine.
Yeah.
A bit much sometimes, but it's fine.
No, it's like if you're at that level, competing at that level and winning on top of that, you kind of
Yeah.
deserve to have that ego.
It's also like, I can't imagine. Could you imagine being first in the world
Yeah.
and by such a landslide amount?
Yeah.
Right? Think about it. You're so far ahead of everyone that you could slow down. Like what Bolt
Yes.
did, right?
Yeah,
You could slow down.
He's lapping like
Right,
third and fourth
right.
place people.
That must put your mentality in the stratosphere.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, you can say the car is like one aspect of it. You give the same car to Hamilton or Alonso or Vettel for that matter of fact, they'll still do well. But like, you also have to take into consideration how young Verstappen is.
How
Right?
old
Like,
is he now? 23?
Yeah, but he's like the youngest to win as well. No, youngest.
Yes.
Yeah.
That on that
Com-
side, yes.
Yeah, and if you're putting Hamilton and Alonso head to head, Hamilton would win. We saw that
Hamilton,
in
Alonso
McLaren.
head to head, yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
saw.
Experience, right?
Yeah.
It's about understanding your car, but it's also about understanding road conditions, about understanding
What-
how to get to where I want to get to. And I think experience always.
Yeah. And there's
Yes.
also so much math that goes into it. It's not just like driving a car.
Was Alonso and Hamilton in the same car?
Yeah, McLaren.
McLaren.
Yeah.
But those two are shitty cars.
No, not when McLaren was shitty.
Okay.
It was when McLaren was pretty good.
Yeah.
I remember Ferrari had a good car a few years ago, right? That they got
Yeah, they got.
banned for. Or
Yeah,
not
they
banned,
were
but-
like doing something like they were practically cheating.
Yeah, but that was a brilliant car. It was
Yeah, that was the
beast.
Vettel
Yeah.
time, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that was Vettel's
Vettel.
time. And then the next year they had just the most terrible, awful car.
No, they had like that season they came close to winning. They wouldn't have won the championship
Yeah.
anyways because they messed up the strategy.
Yeah.
But they were so close to winning, and then the full thing came out like,
But what is Ferrari and their strategy? Like
oh man,
every single time watching a race, I'm like, it's not rocket science. You got to know when to pit. You got to know which tires to use. It's really not that tough.
Yeah, they
especially
go-
if your entire job is just determining the story for the next 3 hours. It's not that
No,
tough.
your entire legacy is like fucking fast cars.
Yeah.
Right? You're
No, like even when you hear the
And,
like the
yeah.
comms, right? Like we'll do strategy A, strategy B, strategy C, 3 strategies, and they go for the worst one every time.
Yeah.
Without fail.
And this poor guy, Leclerc, he's like, Like you hear every time at the end, he's just sick and tired of this, and you can't really blame him.
Yeah. He gets like fucked over every time.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you get fucked over instead of a teammate, like how sometimes Perez gets fucked over because of Verstappen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is not that. Like both drivers get fucked over equally.
What happens to Sainz now?
Since he's probably moving to Audi, right? Like a
Right, Audi's joining.
yeah, Audi.
right.
Like they're taking over a Sauber.
Yeah.
Sauber. How I don't know how do you spell it. Now what are they? Like a kick.
Kick.
Yeah, like the betting company Stake, right?
Right.
Yeah, they are
Kick, the one with all the streamers.
Yeah. So
But dude, that came out of nowhere.
Does Saudi
That's
have a
huge
stake
now.
in any? I mean, F1.
so this thing, Aston.
Aston Martin.
Yeah, Aramco is a
PIF
huge
might
sponsor.
also have a stake.
Yeah.
Not sure.
No, they were trying to sell it to PIF. No, the F1 itself.
Yeah.
I feel like they
F1
would-
F1 had a different PE who owned the stake, and they were trying to divest. I don't know if they did.
No, they were not trying to divest. Saudi was trying to buy a stake in F1.
Did they?
And these guys, like, they're making racks
Bank,
anyway.
yeah.
So they were like, nah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like 3 to 4 years ago, it was very easy to invest into an F1.
Yeah, because it was not as popular.
Yes. And it was not as profitable,
Mm.
right?
Netflix changed the fucking game.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Now it's on everyone's lips. Like
Yeah.
every guy wants to be a driver and every
Yeah.
girl wants to be a passenger princess, and that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
but the narrative is shifting. Like people are promoting more female drivers as well to
Yeah.
get into F1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a steep climb,
is,
right?
it
Like
is, it
you
is.
think about like how many male drivers are there in their academy
Yeah.
versus how many female drivers are there. It's a significantly different
Yeah.
set of things. When did you think finance was the right option for you? How did you start out? And how do you find it now? What is your future plan now that you're out of an internship?
I've had different inflection points throughout my life where I've decided that I want to move towards finance. If I were to make this like a walk me through your resume kind of question, the way it works is when I was 15, my best friend and I, it was his brainchild, but I guess at the time we did it together and expanded it together. My best friend and I started an NPO here called The Nameless Good, right? And we ran it for about 3 years. Alhamdulillah, very
The
successfully.
nameless.
The Nameless Good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, it started off just through a party almost, like a gala that raised money to help finance purchases for tables and equipment in Manzil, a school for determined children in Sharjah. You would have heard of Manzil,
Yeah.
right? And we got a letter from Dr. Aisha Hosseini who said, we sort of recognize the Nameless Good as a charitable foundation, and these kids are doing a good job. That for us was a big deal. We've just hosted a party as kids. We've pretended like we're adults and wore suits and all that, and we've helped in some way, shape, or form. We've helped, right? And so we expanded through that, and we did football tournaments and got sponsors like Red Bull, Hale Education. We got Motivate, Val Morgan. All these guys started sponsoring us, and we kind of expanded throughout schools and throughout Dubai. At some point, we were doing tournaments, renting out World Trade Center Sports World completely. We were on their Instagram. So it was a huge thing that eventually expanded over 3 years. And when we left for university, we had to stop. Now, part of that was also creating sponsorship slabs, organizing over like 150 people at that point. I don't know, deciding project finance, cost and budgeting, allocations, right? Understanding if there's, at the time, what I didn't know to be IRR, the internal rate of return, but sort of like, okay, how can this project be a good investment or show a good ROI?
Just gonna
for our
stop you there.
sponsors?
What is IRR for people who don't know?
It's the internal rate of return. You having done your CFA level
No,
one could
I know what IRR is.
define it better than me. But essentially, it's what
You're
you're
a candidate, so you should know.
Yeah, it's being
I'm
tested.
a candidate having studied nothing.
Okay.
Right? Having the practical experience in life.
Oh,
But
trust me, I didn't study it.
yeah, this man said that, but I know for a fact he was stressing before his exam.
Oh yeah, no shit. Yeah, I was losing my brain cells.
It is. I feel like it would be a mountain of work if you were to do it last month.
It is. It's not. I don't.
He did it in
suggest-
22 days.
22 days. Impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive. This is like me with the SATs. The night before, a friend of mine and I went to a building and spray painted the entire first floor. Illegal again. Spray painted the entire first floor because we were done and sick and tired and had we studied for like 4 days straight. Like we've had enough.
Okay.
Went spray painted a building till like 4 a.m. Took my SATs at 9 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I kind of get what you mean.
All right.
He said, I didn't ask you any of that.
He's like, all right, Anas.
I
get
noticed
it.
like I cut out like all rights like every 5 minutes. Like it's a pain in the ass. But you're going to France or moving to France? Like
I'm going back to France.
Okay.
okay,
Yeah, in a
like is
week.
it like a visit or?
No, my last semester.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the way it works, right? So I've done like how do I phrase this? Okay, so the way it works in France is you do 3 years of bachelor's and 1
Okay.
year of master's integrated.
All right.
I've done the bachelor's. It's over.
Alright.
You don't get your degree unless you do the master's as well.
Gotcha.
I have 1 semester of my M1 left,
Okay.
so it's not an integrated master's degree. It's almost like it's master's credits. So
Okay.
if I were to do an MBA or an MPhil that's 2 years or M whatever that's 2 years long, I never have to do 2 years. I only have to do 1
Okay.
Oh.
because my
Fair.
credits are transferable.
Fair.
And yeah, so I have 1 semester left.
So you've been in different countries and you've been in France. What is life in France like? Is it all like
It's very
romantic
different, right?
and
Because
lights and bougie?
Do
Or
they romanticize life as much as the movies show us?
no, it's not.
do you have like everybody selling baguettes like every 5 kilometers?
That is a thing though, because man, you eat bread every morning. It's
Yeah.
a joke. Like I'm not even joking. You get up and you walk to the boulangerie. You pick up a baguette every morning.
Really?
You put something on it, like cheese or jambon or whatever you put, and you eat it. And that's like the way of life. So yeah, you get accustomed to different French traditions. Like you use the small fork for certain things and the big fork for certain things. And the way you sit, and the way you speak. And there's a lot to adapt to in French culture because they're
Etiquette.
very cultured in that sense. But
They give a lot of importance to etiquette, you'd say?
not only importance, it's almost as if it determines your standing.
Okay.
Right? So they can tell if you're like a hooligan. If you do. So for example, when I went to visit one of my really good friends, I went to his place to stay for a couple of days. His grandmom, who's bless her, she's from Normandy, out west, and she's like French German, right? Weird mix, especially for the time she was born in. But she sat down, gave me a 2-hour lecture on how I have absolutely zero etiquette. She almost put me through finishing school, right, for 2 hours straight. And it
Yeah.
wasn't like she was being rude.
Yeah.
It was like that's what's expected of you as a man,
Yeah.
as a young boy, a young adult, whatever. That is what's expected of you.
Yeah.
You need to know certain things and adhere to certain traditions to even have some sort of standing in society. But France in general, because alhamdulillah, I've been blessed since I left home at 17. I've lived in the US, moved to France, the Singapore, and then the UK. Right, so I've lived in quite a few places. France, by far and large, is the most storied spot.
Mm.
And I say storied because you see almost an amalgamation of every kind of culture you could, and everyone struggling to find solid footing, right? It's a nice place. It's a very nice place, and I love the city. Because when I left the UK and I went to Paris just for a week to visit my friends, I said to them, man, I missed Paris so much compared to London. Like I really just like the city so much. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place to live. But it is everything you've heard of it. It is as cultured and as flamboyant in certain parts, but it's also as rude, as narcissistic in other parts. And it's what you make of it, as it is for any developed city.
Mm.
For me personally, I live outside of the city because my university is 30 minutes away. But being a city kid and having grown up in cities, it's what you make of it. And it's the people that make the city yours, right? So for me, it's not been very Frenchy people. It's been like second gen Frenchies, like German French and Turkish French and Lebanese and Moroccan.
Mostly
this and that.
immigrants.
Sorry?
Mostly immigrants who
Yes. Like I have a few French people I really like and I'm close to, but it's mainly been like second gen people. And I like that because no one understands your culture like people who have culture.
Yeah.
Right. You would have noticed white people don't
That's a
really
diss
have
to
the-
white people. I was gonna say like
Sorry?
that's a diss to white people.
that is it. That's exactly what I was going to say. You notice white people don't really have that going
Yeah.
for them. They're white. They're vanilla. They're bland. Right? You need a little bit of flavor in your life. That's just how it works.
that's why they colonized us for the spices.
They did. Exactly. Yeah. They had nothing. They just said, fuck it. We're going to steal something.
Bucker told me that you have like a France, a PR sit.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's the process of getting the French PR for people who are listening? Like
Yeah.
if they want to go study, and like, I know it's like a weird thing, but you know,
You're just curious about it.
no, I'm not. I'm going elsewhere, but I am curious about it. Yeah.
So the way the French system works, and I didn't know until I went
Yeah.
there.
Because my friend is in Paris as well. I can connect you with him.
Where is he in Paris? Or she?
I don't know where he's studying, but he's a cybersecurity analyst kind of a thing.
Cybersecurity.
Yeah, he's doing his master's there.
That's wouldn't be Sorbonne, wouldn't be Sciences Po, would not be HEC. I don't know. Maybe Pantheon. I don't know.
He's doing that, and yeah, I can connect you with him, and you can.
Right.
yes.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Actually, we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. But the way the French system works, education-wise, is French people don't do bachelors.
Hmm.
Never. Right? They do something called prepa for 2 years, which is, I guess, like our IIT coaching.
Hmm.
Right? It's very scientific and very examination focused and like study 9 hours a day kind of mentality. And as soon as you finish your prepa, you take direct admission into a Grande École. A Grande École is like a master's, wherein you do a master's in management or finance or whatever, but it's called a Grande École. And you have top schools that sort of give you that pedigree of, if I've graduated from there in Grande École, my life is set, no matter what, right? It's because of the alumni and people. It's a very close circle that you're now exclusively part of. The way it works for international students, if you want to do a bachelor's, is that you go to a school that also has Grande Écoles, so you do a bachelor's, and then you integrate your M1 into it, and you can then do an M2, like 1 year of MFin or MBA, wherever you want, and it's covered, right? This is not typical, because what I've noticed is most people do their bachelor somewhere else and then do their master's in France, because France is amazing, like genuinely amazing. It's what, like the top 10 business schools in the world, 4 of them are French, right? Brilliant. And in the top 6, not even the top 10. So,
And you're in one of them, right?
I don't know.
ESSEC. You're
ESSEC, yeah.
yeah.
Alhamdulillah. It's a good spot. But the thing is, no one understands the difference between a bachelor's and the master's outside of France. So it's known for its master's. But if I were to apply to IB in London, as I am, they would assume I've done my master's there, because they don't even know ESSEC has a bachelor's, right? And we take some of the same classes and we interact with them and we do the same stuff. So the recognition is good. And the PR, essentially, to your question, is I don't have a permanent residency. If you want a permanent residency, it's the same as the UK. Stay for 5 years, you prove you've sort of gotten accustomed to life there, acclimatized almost to life there. You understand the culture, you can speak the language. So you got to prove all of that to the government, and you got to work there for 5 years, right? Standard boilerplate way to get your PR. The way it works when you're studying there is you get a four-year visa that's permanent. You can go anywhere in Schengen through it. So I can like travel anywhere in Europe if I want to. And it expires the year of your graduation, right? So for me, my bachelor's ends this year. It expires this year. But if I were doing a master's, you can extend it for a year or 2 years, like in the UK. For bachelor's, you don't have that option. You can't extend it. You either get a job and you work there on the jobs visa, or you leave.
So you can't become a French citizen. Like
As of now, no, I can't.
As of now, right now.
You could eventually. And like a friend of mine is doing exactly that. Abhinav
Okay.
Shetty, shout out to him. He's in Sciences Po. He did a bachelor's down in Menton, south of France. And now he's doing his master's from Sciences Po in Paris.
Okay.
I think that's his exact plan.
Yeah.
Stay for a couple of years. He's working at the Olympics right now. Actually, pretty
Okay.
cool. He's always been this like socialist kind of, not socialist, but like
This one.
into
Talk to him.
activism.
Socialism and
Yeah.
Not
anarchism.
socialism.
He was like
man.
a-
That's a political.
Anarchism as well, right?
No, he's getting into
not. He's not
social
endorsing
services.
mutiny
Yeah.
for sure.
This guy's an anarchist.
This dude's like A for anarchy. No, it was more. He was like an SJW with a brain,
Yeah.
you know, and he pursued that in life.
Yeah.
He's the kind of kid, like my mom always said, he's the kind of kid she can see working in the UN.
Yeah.
Which, bless him, I think he'll get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's his plan with France.
Oh.
I think I just wanted to interject because I don't think we touched on IB and how tough IB is.
Yeah.
No.
And I think if you want to do that for a few minutes, I wouldn't mind.
We
Because to
would-
give a realistic view of investment banking to the average audience member is, I think, quite important.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
we
like
also-
it's so glamorized. Like working in IB, they should fucking know 80-hour work weeks and like
Terrible.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like they should know how insane it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think high finance in general, right? When you look at whether it's private equity or hedge funds or investment banking or to a certain extent VCs, you're signing up for a world of dedication and commitment to your craft. And unless you really like what you do and unless you're doing it for a specific reason, that's why when you do these interviews, someone asks you why IB, right? And it has to be a good answer, because unless you have a good answer for it, you really shouldn't be doing it. You hate your life. That's why a ton of people do IB for 2 years and they pivot, because A, you have an expansive number of options that you can pivot into because you've done something that's the highest of high finance, typically. And B, you've understood one particular industry, right? When you do IB, you understand like multiple industries. It's like a snapshot of everything you want to learn. And then you can pivot to like corporate finance or buy side or whatever it is that you want to do. But it allows you the option and freedom eventually. And that's why people take it within 2 years.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to do that for the rest of their lives.
All right.
And what would your
What was the sorry? Sorry. No, you go. No, you go. What is the work?
It's a very
hard-
cute relationship, by the way.
I'm gonna miss him, man.
How long have you guys known each other?
1.5 years?
1.5 years, yeah.
Okay.
We met in CFA class. That's when.
Okay. It's CFA class.
Yeah,
The class for CFA?
Yeah, we took
PwC.
Where?
PwC.
over here.
Okay. PwC really milks people, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking hell. ACCA, CFA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But everything under that one umbrella.
I don't get me started.
Some
on
money
PwC.
went down the drain. We just don't want
Yeah.
to know. We just don't know
It
to
went
talk
for
about
you.
it. Just
Not for
So was
me.
it important to take the classes? Like I looked at that stuff online. Look at quantitatives, look at
If
minute schedule.
so, for me, at least the thing is like I like to be in class, ask
Yeah.
questions and everything. So it is a very big premium, but it felt like it's worth paying it.
Okay.
we
right.
made a lot of network through
We
that.
met
Yeah.
him, met a lot of people. That's
that's fair as well.
I would say it's even a side
Yeah.
effect. Like the
Yeah.
main thing is like I'm there in the class and this fucker who I'm paying like 14K a month should answer my question.
14?
14K for the entire thing, yeah.
12.5 for
No, that was level one.
level
Level
one,
two is 14. Yeah.
That's
And if you fail, you
quite a
don't-
bit, huh?
yeah. And if you
This
fail, you
dude's
don't have to
failed.
pay again. You don't have to pay again if you
not
fail.
fail. I just went to the exam. I was like, every day I'd call him. I was like, how do I prepare
This
for the
fucker
exam?
like spent more time planning how he was gonna study than study.
Dad, you know what? I get stuck in that as well. Because that's like what's it called? Decision paralysis,
Yeah.
analysis, whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You want to make it so perfect.
Yeah.
And so at this day, I'm going to
Yeah.
do this. And
Yeah.
when I finish this, I'll be doing this and
Yeah.
I'll revise this. And then you never really do it.
Nothing will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a valid
went to-
excuse. I was doing IB, so I didn't have time.
Yeah, I went into the
Yeah.
exam like just knowing that I didn't study a single page of anything but quants.
But once.
Yeah,
Okay, fair.
and I did quants well, and I just fucked off. Like,
Is the ethics part, like, 'cause I saw everything else is fine, but like,
ethics
do you
is
really
good.
like
Yeah, ethics is fun.
learn the ethics, like Ratta kind of?
No.
Or-
It's just application. So
Application.
level 1, level 2, it's
Yeah.
just application. So what will happen is that they'll ask you question, did this person do something wrong? Did this
Right.
person? So you don't even, there are like 7 standards. You don't have to memorize the
Right.
7 standards. You just understand the standards and where
Oh,
it
that's
could
brilliant.
where it should be applicable and you can do
Because
the
it is
exam.
MCQ, right?
Yeah, it's MCQ.
But I'll tell you one thing: you'll enjoy studying if you don't think about the exam as like
the end goal.
the end goal.
Yeah, if you're studying because
For
you
the sake
enjoy
of
it,
studying,
then you will like it.
you will enjoy it. I enjoyed studying, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
that's fair.
I hated the fact that I had to write an exam. So I was like,
I think for me, I really like gaining education.
Yeah.
Right? Not like educational degrees, but I like learning. I'm curious about certain
Yeah.
things. And that's also why sort of IB, like I want to
Yeah.
learn certain things that I wouldn't have access to typically.
Yeah.
And yeah, with CFA, I feel like I would enjoy the pursuit. Not sure how much I'd enjoy the exam, but I've learned that it's only important in emerging markets. Like if you go to London, you go to the US, they don't really give a fuck if you have a CFA or not.
Yeah.
They want to know if you have the technical pedigree to do your work.
Yeah.
If you're, if you're up to a certain level of competency, and that's it. If you have the experience, the CFA only counts for stuff in Dubai or like the CA in India, or
Yeah.
because then it elevates you to a different status.
The biggest problem with CFA, the skill aside, right? Like it's just how they frame it and structure it,
Mm.
right? This exam that is teaching you quite a bit, in their content, it doesn't have to be such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost as if it's made to be a pain in the ass. So that you pay that extra fee to postpone it, then you pay an extra fee to reschedule your exam, then you postpone it, then you fail, then you repay everything from scratch.
It's a non-profit organization for just naam ke vas, like
It's
namesake.
definitely not operating as a non-profit.
It's
For
not.
sure.
The
amount of money they make us bleed is insane. But I feel like if you really tried to do it, I don't think you'd need to postpone it. I don't think
It's
it
not
is like
hard.
we do find excuses. Like me myself personally as well, I will find an excuse to put it off. You know,
for sure.
and I feel like if you were that sit at the front bench, you know, kind of kid who just type A, nerdy as hell, you would not find an excuse. You would do it. It's not that tough.
That's a good point, right? We had this kid. He's in 12th grade, CBSE, 12th grade, CBSE, ICSE.
See, we don't talk about ICS.
Okay, ICSE,
Those
12th,
kids are robots.
ICSE, 12th grade. Okay, the dude finished his ACCA. He finished his
13
ACCA.
papers.
Yeah, finished his ACCA, got a bachelor's degree. He finished
You
level
said 12th grade.
12th grade. Finished his
when he
level.
was doing it, he was 11.
Yeah, he passed level 2 CFA exam. He's giving his level 3 exam in a few months.
Wait, you're not allowed to pass level 2 if you're not in university?
No, you can. He got his
there's a
bachelor's
jugaad
degree.
way.
Huh?
There's a
got his
jugaad way.
bachelor's.
He got his bachelor's.
Yeah, he got his bachelor's.
Dude,
Yeah.
who's this kid? When I start a company, I'm gonna hire him.
Yeah.
Give me his
I'll give you
contact
his
details.
contact.
You know, the problem is there's like
Sure.
2-3 kids like that in
Yeah,
PwC.
They have a whole like
Like
cult.
a gang. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
PwC, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
PwC. What's this place is like networking for type A kids.
Yeah. The problem is all
How
these,
did you guys fit in?
I don't know, man.
We fit in because we had to.
Okay, fair.
We were forced to.
Chameleons
We
a
were
little
forced
bit.
to,
Yeah,
yeah.
fair.
Right. So these kids are trying to go out and find a job and their pay is like 3,500, 1,500, 2,500. Nobody wants to hire them because they're one, overqualified, and two, they don't have any experience.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Theoretical degrees don't really count for much. Like when I got into IB, the amount I learned in 1 week compared to all my M&A and all my PE classes,
Nothing.
incomparable.
You
Yeah.
can't.
It's amazing.
Like I've done finance as a bachelor's degree, doing the CFA. The amount of things you learn while doing things is
Amazing.
incomparable.
I spent a year thinking, this is the most basic thing. I spent a year thinking when you do trading comps, trading multiples, when you do a pure comp analysis, you use LTM EBITDA numbers.
Okay.
I just thought you did, right? And that was what I read in a book. And that's what I learned in class.
Yeah,
and
but
that's
you
what I
have
wrote
to make
in an
all the
exam.
adjustments and things. It's
Yeah,
not
you
as
make an adjustment, no, of
always
course. But
straightforward.
I thought you use last 12 month numbers, right? And then I sit down, make my first trading comps, and I send it to my associate. My associate calls me up and he shits on me. And he says, why the hell have you used the last 12 months? It's a trading comps. You use the forward-looking next 12-month EBITDA numbers.
Yeah.
And I said, logically, that makes sense. I was like, dude, why have I written that in an exam? Why have I read that from a book?
Yeah.
Why have I been taught that?
Yeah.
Because I've just learned that logically you would use the forward trailing months. And just the small things that you learn through practice and you get very good at. Because I was sort of fortunate in that there were no analysts in my boutique right now. It's called Elantra. It's a Spanish boutique, middle market. And they only got established in Dubai 2 years ago.
Okay.
Right? We've recently picked up an associate named Majdi. Shout out to you. Bless you for everything you've taught me. But before that, before he joined, in the last few months, it was just me and my director, Zakaria. And because there were no analysts I was directly reporting to, I started reporting to myself. And so I'm very self-taught in terms of IB. So we're doing all these very important mandates, right? And like big transactions. But it's me teaching myself and then submitting it to him and making sure that it's okay. So I feel like having that balance of checks wherein like you're talking to someone in the industry is very important. Because even talking to him, I learned quite a bit in like the span of 2 weeks. And then he didn't have to worry for the next 3 months. With that in mind, I wouldn't ever say you'd be ready for a job like that with CFAs or with, you know.
That's probably changed your whole perspective of what work is, you know?
Yeah.
It's not what you study in the book.
And sort of what work means to you. You know, you have a sort of relationship with your work as well.
Yeah. That's kind of why I pushed off the CFA as well, right? Because I said, I don't know, there's bigger things to focus on in that there are strides you can actually make with life. And yes, doing the CFA is a very important step in life. But there's things you can do actively now that for which you'd see results now. And it's not about the instant gratification of it. It's the I want to enjoy the process to get somewhere where there's more value add to my life.
Yeah.
Right? The CFA is a value add, but it's like it's a conversation starter, and that's it. I could start that conversation in a million ways. I don't need the CFA to start it.
And the amount of people who just want the foot at that door for that opportunity to get like, that is where
exactly
that is where the crux of it is. Like, so many people would die for a fucking opportunity like that, rather than sitting for 6 months and doing level 1.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's what I realized as well, because I started prepping for this level 1 last year.
Yeah.
And then I put it off, thinking, no, I need to find an IB job, right? And then I spent the next few months, I swear to God, texting 20 to 30 people every day on LinkedIn, sending out, scraping emails and sending out emails.
Yeah.
Going to networking events, crashing MBA networking events, crashing parties that I wasn't invited to, that are like high finance, high society. And this is a kid who has no experience in networking. And over time, I've developed that because it was important, right? And getting to know those people elevates your life, but also teaches you the kind of conversations you should be part of to get to where you want to be. And I could sit in my room and do the CFA. And I will probably, inshallah, if I get time, I will. But it's more important to develop the skills that will help me.
Not just that, like CFA, you can do, like if you don't do it today, you can do it 20 years later. Nothing's going to change. But this, if you miss it out now, you kind of miss it out.
It's like a habitual thing as well, right? Like if you get acclimatized to doing stuff alone and in isolation and saying that's going to help me, that's good, that's great. But in an industry like this, you need to learn certain social elements that I never understood that even existed, right? That will probably push you forward in life. And I think picking that up is one of the most important things kids could do in this day and age. Like learn how to network, learn how to organize yourself and understand what you really want from life. And then go for that experience and try to understand it. Because for me to understand I wanted IB, I had to do an internship in wealth management, in data analysis, in market research, and VC. I did all of that, and then I understood, no, I want to do IB. So unless you're going to go there and work and learn, you're never going to figure out what you want to do. You're just going to think of it like a pipe dream from a book.
That's a good place to end the conversation. Thank you again for coming. It's a very long and diverse conversation.
We loved every single fucking second.
Man, if I didn't have to go to the washroom, I would continue this conversation even further.
I mean, better you not to.
Man. All right. Cool.
Thank you for coming. How was your first podcasting experience?
I quite enjoyed it. I think it was a bit too seamless. Like, I think we segued into so many things that I wasn't really...
We had a different conversation on the call versus what we spoke about, and it is fine.
No. I agree. I quite like it. Let's start with that. I quite enjoyed it. Before I invade your sensitivities, I quite like it. The fact that it was very seamless and very almost like we segued into different topics, and I feel like thank you for the opportunity. To be honest,
is there any way people can reach out to you?
Sure, you could slide into my DMs like you were saying a few minutes ago.
LinkedIn DMs.
Yeah, sure. I mean, my name is Anas Memon. That's Alpha Nancy, Alpha Sierra, Mother Echo, Mother Oscar Nancy.
I was just going to put it under the...
Right. Ignore what I've just said.
Chill out, man. Chill out.
Sorry, the name alphabet went too hard here. My bad. Just reach out to me on LinkedIn or IG and reach out to these guys as well if you want to have a nice conversation.
Thanks to Horizontal for this lovely space.
Can we also please get sponsored with Polaroid cameras? That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Next time.